Really quick, right over here, fam. Nicaragua is on the regime change radar, fam. The Gray Zone reported again, whatnot. And we said this before. We've been keeping an eye. The guy we had on last week, Kevin Zeast, and one of the first things I heard him say was talk about Nicaragua. He was like the go-to guy. He connected the NED, the money funding. Once again, your taxpayer dollar. You Trump guys who want to build a wall, guess what? You don't have to build a wall. Just stop funding these coups, and they'll stop coming here in droves like crazy. You think the people of Bolivia, you think the people of Venezuela, you think the people of Nicaragua want to leave their beautiful homeland? No, they don't. But they have no choice. Why? Because the United States government supports brutal dictators that go on killing rampages so they can steal the natural resources and not give it to the people. Don't eat bananas from Honduras. It says Operation Condor 2.0. After the Bolivia coup, Trump dubs Nicaragua as a national security threat and targets Mexico. And fam, I have to watch it. You did a really good video, I heard, because it's got a lot of views, about the cartels now. What is Donald Trump saying with the cartels?
So Donald Trump wants to label all of the cartels as terrorists. This is problematic because once you can label somebody as a terrorist, now anybody associated with the terrorist has to is in trouble. You have to completely disassociate from them. Those people are in danger of deportation, and then you have to also notify the Treasury Department of if you are receiving or doing any sort of monetary exchange. Now, the problem with that is if Trump can label anybody as a terrorist because of this administration's anti-immigrant sort of plan when it comes to people coming into this country, it's made the situation far worse than it was. Obama, of course, deported many millions of people, started the cages, and that is to be noted. However, Donald Trump is making the situation much, much worse. And by calling cartels, all cartels terrorists, you're completely ignoring the fact that, number one, we have our own terrorists to deal with at home. We have, number two, are the number one people that are at fault for what's going on with the quote-unquote war on drugs. It's a facade used to create profit for Americans.
Yep.
A lot of the police have been involved. I have known police officers that have talked about to me personally how they have worked with people who have supplied weapons to these cartels, supplied drugs to these cartels, engaged in businesses because of money, because who's buying all these drugs? Americans are. And this isn't something that is made up. This is something you can look up. The United States is primarily to blame for what's going on with the cartels, for the war on drugs. A lot of the gangs and the MS-13s that people on the right love to talk about, those gangs were fueled by our coups. When Hillary Clinton, under the Obama administration, went in 2009 into Honduras, she created a country that is now it has so much civil unrest that these gangs are now the only way to survive and for these people to kind of be in there. And now people are being killed by these gangs. And this is all a result of, once again, our foreign policy, our pro-regime change, our desire to go and meddle into other countries, especially Latin America. Yeah. Latin America is something we've been after for a long, long time, and we continue to meddle in Latin America. And now Tulsi saw the writing on the wall. That was the whole point I wanted to make in that video, was that Tulsi Gabbard, and I think Tulsi knew, and I think Pete Buttigieg knew, that something was happening, because he was for bringing the military to stand up against the cartels, which can translate to some sort of fighting between our military and Mexico. And of course, then Mexico's government's going to get involved. And then it's going to be this whole thing. And now who do we have in Mexico? We have AMLO, who's a leftist socialist president that is housing Evo Morales. Like, that's not convenient for us. What a coincidence that all of a sudden now we're like, oh yeah, we need to send our military. Oh yeah, now we need to label them as terrorists. Oh yeah, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I got chills when you talked about Manuel Zelaya, because we've been talking about this for a long time. This is one of our key issues and stuff. We talked about Latin America. We talked about regime change. We talked about the Monroe Doctrine. How in the friggin' world is Nicaragua a security threat to the United States, fam? How? And can anybody give me a logical, can you think of, Johnny Sue, can you think of something, just make something up for me, because I can't even make something up on how Nicaragua could be a security threat to the United States. Help me out.
Socialism. Communism.
Can we get a dolphin? Do you have a dolphin standing by, please? Thank you very much. I think it's just ridiculous.
No, but I think that's true in a way. I mean, they don't
I mean, that's
want,
what it really is, right?
That's really what it is. Yeah. But look, it's the same thing with Bolivia, the same thing. Latin America would be a very powerful, like South America, even and Central America would be very powerful if they had socialist leftist governments, more like Bolivia's Evo Morales, more like Maduro's, more like all of those people that have come together, like Lula, if he wasn't ousted. But we continue like involving ourselves and getting rid of these people because the last thing we need is a powerful, independent Latin America with Venezuela's oil, with their own resources that are no longer dependent on U.S. capitalism and us like maintaining control over our empire. And our empire is falling, and understandably and justly so, because you know what? Like, it's time.
Expensive.
Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, we just need to stop.
And really, a lot of it is about the military-industrial complex just making money hand over fist. All the guns in Mexico that are being used, 95% of coming from the United States.
We supply the weapons.
A lot of them are from the gun club loophole. When we talk about in the gun club, the gun show loophole, you can go into a gun show and you don't have a waiting period. You can buy a rifle right there. So you can go in there and buy a military-grade weapon without even getting checked. So if the cartel meets me outside, like, hey, man, you want to make 10 grand? What? Just go in there and buy us 20 weapons with the money we give you. You come out, we'll give you 10 grand. You know, people need to feed their families. Once again, they're starving. So that's what happens. They go into these gun shows, they bring them out, and the cartel's waiting there. They buy them. They smuggle them across the border. Now the military-industrial complex, the gun manufacturers are making money hand over fist while people are killing themselves. And then it's also about resource extraction. Nicaragua has resources we want. We want that oil. We want their natural resources. And then the third part is defamation of socialism. They won't want American citizens seeing that parts of socialism are successful. We have them in this country. Social Security, our roads, our police department, our libraries. But if you even kick it a notch further and you can see a bunch of happy people who are getting health care, who are getting free education from a socialist system, even with capitalism, it could be a quasi-system like these countries have, American people will go, wait a second, I want that. So American imperialism and the elites are to destroy it on every level. And right now, for them to even say that Nicaragua is a security threat is a joke, but we had it on the radar. We've been talking about Manuel Zelaya. I think we have a little face thing with Manuel Zelaya, fam. And sure enough, if you're paying attention, you can see this shit coming.
Exactly.